こんにちは。My name is Yuga Okamoto. Let me introduce our topic. Our theme is this. In response to an aging population. Today, Japan is facing an unprecedented aging population. The average life expectancy of Japanese is 83 years, the longest in the world. With the medical advancement today, more and more countries are likely to have an aging population. Japan must set an example of a way to manage an aging population. To do so, we must consider how to effectively use technology, or if technology is sufficient solution at all. There are three sections in our presentation, which are the current situation in Japan, existing issues, and solutions. First, we would like to talk about the current situation in Japan. Please take a look at the population pyramid of Japan. In 1950, Japan was a developing country with an increasing population, just like some countries today. Over the next 70 years, the pyramid has lost its shape. Now, it is more like a pot, narrow at the bottom and wide in the middle. We will show you another data. In the 1950s, the percentage of those over 65 years old was nearly 5%. Now, the rate has increased to around 30%. It is way higher than 21%, which is what we call a super aging society. Some even estimated it to rise to around 40% by 2060. The population gets more aged and more more serious problems will come out in Japan.
With that being said, let's take a look at the existing issues. There are four main challenges Japan is facing right now. First of all, with the decreased population and longer life expectancy, everyone will have to work for longer years. In Japan, only 1 in 6 people feel satisfied with their occupation themselves. It will only be painful for the rest of them to be forced to work longer. Secondly, there will be less employment opportunities. Although AI is necessary to supplement the workforce in manual jobs, it might take away liberal jobs as well. In addition, as more developed countries like Japan develop new technologies, international economic disparity widens. Whether a country has the latest technologies or not will make a significant difference. Wealth could be unequally distributed as a result of innovation.
Lastly, many elderly people are likely to suffer from loneliness after their retirement. More than 40% of retired males have little everyday conversations, and the number goes up for those who live alone or have financial difficulties. To solve the issues we have discussed, we came to the conclusion that maximizing people's ikigai using technology will be essential in our aging society. Ikigai is a Japanese word that refers to something that can make people feel fulfilled, satisfied, needed, and worthy of living every day. Ikigai consists of 4 different segments. They are profession, passion, education, and connection. First is profession. As people will have to work longer, they are more likely to be threatened to lose their jobs. Also, technology will be developed more and more, and it will not wait for us to catch up. Therefore, workers need to enhance their skills and adapt to the changes made throughout their lives.
Please look at this graph. Americans change their jobs, average 11 times in their lives, while Japanese do average 2.6 times in their lives. These data show that the number in America is much larger than that in Japan. Formerly, Japanese had a tendency to work up until the official retirement age, 60, and avoid changing their occupations throughout their lives, because seniority wage system was common among the Japanese society. But as we mentioned, they are mired in the old way of thinking, one job in one life. For those people, changing their jobs can be a chance to figure out what they really want to do. As a result, work efficiency and people's attitude toward work could be improved. Moreover, it will lead to the progress of knowledge and technology for the future, especially for the workers who are motivated to improve their work. The next is passion. It's very important for seniors to find something they can be passionate about. Interaction with those who share the same hobbies can give elderly people a sense of belonging to the community, and they can have a wider circle of friends. As a matter of fact, according to UN World Happiness Report, the key to happiness is belonging to the community and having relationships with them. As you can see from this graph, social support is a material factor of happiness all over the world.
The next one is education. You might have heard that AI will replace almost half of the existing jobs within 25 years. In this state, humans will need to have skills that AI doesn't have, such as creative thinking. The Ministry of Education is also promoting active learning, in which students are asked to actively engage in their learning process rather than just listening to lectures. It involves activities like discussions, role plays, and structured team-based learning, just like what we do in APYLS. Encouraging lifelong learning is important as well. This is Masako Wakamiya. She's one example of a person who continued learning to version up. She has actually learned the basic techniques of programming and created her own app when she was 80 years old. And it has been attracting a lot of attention. She had a speech at TED and was invited to the Worldwide Developers Conference by Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple.
Last but not least is connection. Many of the elderly enjoy spending time with their family the most. But those who live by themselves or live far from their family cannot see their family often. However, with the help of technology, they'll be able to stay in touch with each other. Smartphones are too complicated for most elderly people to use today, but as more and more people become aged, new technology such as smart speakers can be affordable and friendly to the senior. Once again, Ikigai, which is a combination of 4 factors: profession, passion, education, and connection, will emerge by leveraging on technology. Just developing technology itself cannot solve all the issues, but by combining it with the idea of Ikigai, it will be a very effective solution. Leveraging on technology to create Ikigai will be the key to overcoming the obstacles that we face in our Asian society. Thank you.
Thank you, delegates from Japan, for that wonderful insight. We will now proceed with a 5 minutes Q&A. Should anyone wish to ask questions to the delegates from Japan, please feel free to raise your hand. Yes, Matthew.
Hi. First, I applaud your solution, which is the application of Ikigai to technology. I was just wondering if what are the current technologies your country uses that applies responsible to you guys?
You mean other than smart speakers, which
Yes.
you mentioned? Like,
You mentioned other, aside from helping in connection, what other technologies apply to society in profession, passion, education, and in particular to the aging population?
Thank you very much for the question. First of all, automated cars can allow elderly people to drive regardless of their physical situation. So, if such technologies could be affordable for most of us, then it could keep elderly people, keep the social ties for elderly people. And also, courses that are provided through the internet can give elderly people and many people a chance to study regardless of their, without their time restraints. Is that the answer to your question? Thank you.
Are there any other questions from the floor? Yes?
Once again, well done with the presentation. I just have a small question. You said that currently the prison retirement age is 60 years old. What do you have any ideas on what that should be raised to?
It used to be at 60, but now many companies allow their employees to stay till they're 65 because they're still healthy and they can work. And we think it would be better if they can work till they're 70, since the average life expectancy is 83 years. And if they only have about 10 or 15 years left of their life, we think they can live their life.
Thank you very much.
We're allowed for one more question on the floor. Are there any more questions? Yes, Kelly.
Hi, it was a great presentation. And I have one question. So, if the elder people get to work until as late or 80, or the drivers they work until 60 or something, how can we secure their work efficiency? Would that be effective or?
They'll still be younger employees, and they can, and also we think that they should put emphasis on education as well, so that they could keep learning throughout their life, so that they can keep up with the latest technology and continue to be efficient with their work.
Thank you, delegates from Japan. Next, we will have the delegates from Australia to tell us more about job automation, the future of productivity.
Just before I start, can everyone hear me? Or do you want me to use the microphone? Okay, is that better? We live in a world full of tools and gadgets designed to help us live our lives and carry out our tasks. The chef has an oven. An office worker has a computer. Doctors can now operate using machines which grant accuracy and precision beyond the scope of human achievement. However, what is the next step? We've already seen glimpses of it in places like car factories, with endless assembly lines of robots building our vehicles for us. I'm talking about job automation. Our citizens' use of technology is about to undergo a paradigm shift, from using it as a tool to relying on it, partnering with it, or even being replaced by it. Today we ask and answer 3 questions. What are the harms job automation can cause? What are the potential rewards? And what is the right step forward? To begin, there are 3 categories or waves that job automation is expected to occur. The algorithm wave is already underway and is characterized by computers carrying out calculations and simple analyses of structured data. This has relatively limited capabilities. Applications include financial analysis and transaction management. The second wave is the augmentation wave, expected to come to fruition by the early 2020s. This wave will see more and more advanced computers, machinery, and technology find uses in far more varied fields and circumstances. This will have ramifications throughout the production sector in a variety of different fields. The third wave is the autonomy wave. Machines will be complex enough to tackle a multitude of different tasks for humans. The scope of the change this wave will bring is difficult to exaggerate, but it is very unlikely to become reality before the mid-2030s. But what is there to be concerned about? Firstly, many have raised concerns about the safety of automation. In movies such as The Terminator, The Matrix, and I, Robot, AI triggers the end of the world. Stephen Hawking believed that AI poses a significant risk to humanity, as does Elon Musk, founder of SpaceX and Tesla. In addition, many are concerned about the manufacturing jobs that will be lost by widespread automation. Some researchers have argued that as many as 40% of jobs will be taken away by automation. Finally, globally, people argue that automation will widen the gap between developing and developed countries. As wealthy countries enjoy widespread increases in efficiency and production, they will become wealthier off the back of these waves, whilst poorer countries who cannot afford to reap the benefits of automation will be left behind. Are these concerns valid? The short answer is not really. While it is an interesting and terrifying villain for a sci-fi movie, AI is unlikely to be dangerous to humans. Researchers at Google dismiss claims of its risk as unhelpful. Furthermore, estimates of 40% unemployment are not based on sufficiently accurate data. Instead, the number of jobs lost to machines in Australia could be as low as 5%. The vast majority of jobs affected by automation will be augmented or enhanced rather than replaced. In addition, many new jobs will be created by the economic benefits of automation, further reducing unemployment. Indeed, one US researcher found that 65% of children born in 2011 will grow up into a job that doesn't exist yet. Clearly, the potential risks of AI are not as severe as they've been made to seem. The potential benefits of automation in Australia are, however, numerous. Machines will be more efficient, costless, and be able to be implemented into workplaces and environments a human worker could not, especially high-risk environments like factory plants with significant potential for injury. Overall, automation can greatly improve quality of life in Australia, provided it is implemented safely, gradually, and intelligently.
Since automation is of net benefit to Australia, let's take a look at some examples of ways this technology is being used around the world. In America, robotic chefs are cooking everything from pizza to burgers, from San Francisco to Boston. But this is not confined to the US. China employs this technology as well in the name domains. Slightly less innocently, robotic assembly lines produce 25% of munitions in China. China is currently into the augmentation wave. Just last year, the first robotic dentist performed an operation on a patient. In Australia, the Port of Brisbane is our most concentrated zone of automated activity. Machines the size of buildings undergo the important work of transferring cargo to and from freighters before processing goods. This allows cargo to be moved faster and more efficiently. There are countless ways automation is making life easier for people.
How is Australia preparing? Australia's companies and industries are already implementing these technologies in various ways. For example, an Australian bank called ANZ has developed software to handle financial transactions and simple analyses, tasks that take humans much longer to carry out. Our government has unveiled a $30 million plan to increase our capabilities in the fields of AI research and job automation. This also takes the form of research into potential ramifications of automation, especially with regards to job loss. Finally, our education system is in the process of being reformed. Even if job automation does not result in massive unemployment, it will forever change how we learn. In the past, our parents and grandparents worked only a couple of jobs their entire lives, but we will be forced to pursue a multitude of different careers, most probably in different fields. To tackle this, our education system is changing from emphasising rote learning to giving our students the skills to tackle multiple jobs.
Despite the advantages AI have over humans, humans have skills and abilities that AI will never be able to replicate, at least in the short term. The so-called human element is the sum of the qualities that make us human and separate us from machines. Qualities like empathy and critical thinking, problem-solving and ethics are uniquely human qualities that our industries can't function without, and which will stop a society built solely upon machines from functioning. Conversely, any society which keeps humans at the center of the workforce, allied to AI, will reap the benefits of increased efficiency without losing the integral human element. There is one contemporary example that fully illustrates why machines working alone fail. In Thailand, a group of soccer players were trapped in a system of caves, unable to get out. Elon Musk designed a submarine to facilitate that rescue. However, the authorities chose to use experienced human divers for the very reasons I outlined earlier. Only humans could have had such a calming presence or had the empathy to sedate the children before extracting them. A submarine could never have reacted adequately to unexpected problems in the way the divers could have. Whatever the future holds, it's up to our generation to ascertain how to design a partnership that's both sustainable, viable, and considerate. And we may have to start designing pretty soon. By 2030, it's predicted AI will form a very natural part of our lives. So where do we start? When we engaged in discussion at the Coastal War, every single person expressed some degree of concern about the threat of job automation and associated issues. In response, we proposed a rigorous social systems analysis to examine the impacts of job automation on social, political, and economic spheres. From this, concerns can be identified and rectified through corrective regulatory steps, and this can be translated into public policy. Even if automation will cause unemployment, this will give us the information necessary to make very informed decisions. Furthermore, we propose limiting the negative effects of automation through a program of staggered implementation. Setting limiting goals specific to each industry can slow down the onrush of automation and give our workforce the time to adapt to a changing environment. Finally, our education system is already producing students with the critical thinking and adaptability to prosper in this workforce. As there are jobs today that didn't exist 20 years ago, there will be new jobs in new industries and sectors. Sectors where human works with machine to create something greater than the sum of its parts. As long as we keep teaching our students the skills to adapt to change, be it occupying new jobs or constantly changing careers, we will be prepared for the future. Part moderation system, part steering committee, these solutions will help us to continue to transcend new boundaries. But it's up to us as millennials, Generation Z, and delegates of APYLS to realize that future.
Thank you, delegates of Australia, for your presentation. We will now move on with the 5 minutes Q&A. Should any delegates be interested in asking the delegates from Australia a question, please raise your hand. Yes.
One thing that often comes up along with the topic of automation is the idea of universal basic income. Because in the case that the wealth created by these machines get concentrated into a small population, it's a good idea to have some of that wealth distributed. What is your opinion on this?
That's a great idea. I really think that's better brought up in kind of a group discussion setting where everybody can share their opinion on it, because that's really not an easy question to answer, especially for us right here, right now. And I'd really like to hear lots of people's opinion on it. But I reckon just right off the bat, increased taxation could go a long way towards that equal distribution of what we're talking about. Any other questions?
Yes, the delegate over here.
Hi guys, I just wanted to know how do you know that AI will be more intelligent than us if 50 years ago that something in the
Okay. So obviously we don't know. However, researchers at Google, who are the people at the forefront of AI research and the people you could argue are most informed to have an opinion, say that there is no significant risk for AI, at least in the immediate future, and probably for at least a couple of decades. So I think, given we don't know what the future holds, I think that's the best or the most reliable opinion we can hold, or most backed up opinion we can hold on that.
Thank you, delegates of Australia. Next, we will have the delegates from the USA to present on big data analytics. Is there a line to be drawn? Delegates from the USA, please.
Before we begin, can we have anyone in the audience who has some sort of social media, whether it is Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, WeChat, or whatever, to please raise your hands? Okay. Keep your hands up right now. Now, continue keeping your hands up if you read the terms of agreement and privacy policy before signing up for all of them. We are the United States delegation, and we will be presenting on big data analytics. So, what exactly is big data analytics? It is the process of examining large and varied data to uncover trends and insights. Now, this is not something that's very new. It has been going on for a very long time, whether it was businesses in the past examining, which products are the most popular and which consumers to target these products to. However, with the recent technological advances, we are now able to do this on a much larger, much more massive scale. In light of the recent Facebook and Cambridge Analytica controversy, big data analytics is now a topic of discussion.
Big data analytics has a lot of real-life applications. 3 of the most prominent ones are in social media, corporations, and medical research. Social media sites, such as Facebook, use your friends, places that you work, places you currently live, in order to formulate what possible friends you might have and thus recommend those friends to add. YouTube does the same thing by cross-referencing millions of users' videos that they watch to see exactly what videos are correlated with videos that you previously watched in order to recommend videos to watch next. Corporations also use big data analytics, but at a different purpose. They use this in order to create specific ads that are targeted towards individuals. For example,
I really enjoy watching Korean pop music videos.
and because Jenny enjoys watching K-pop videos, more ads geared towards Korean products will be advertised to Jenny than the typical American. Companies use your personal information such as that in order to optimize the number of ads that you might click on and make sure that ads that are related to the things that you are interested in will be displayed to you. Big data analytics is also present within medical research, as it is able to analyze large and varied sources of data and also be able to get rid of confounding variables or things that might mess up a possible experiment. And they are able to also effectively analyze whether or not a treatment or a drug is effective.
By using data, and input directly received from their customers, companies are able to make much more beneficial and quick decisions about their business or advertising models in order to appeal to their customer base. Users get a much better experience as well, as companies use their past misconduct, mistakes, or shortcomings to improve the customer experience for the next few waves of customers. Not only does this improve the experience for the customer and the companies, but it's also very fiscally beneficial. For companies, they no longer have to pay an actual employee to collect and analyze data, shelling out thousands of dollars a year. For customers, let's say you're looking at a hotel. Big data analytics will show you the cheapest hotel for what you're looking for in a matter of seconds. Some industries that use this are travel and hospitality, healthcare, retail and marketing, and insurance and finance. For example, like Daniel said, with healthcare, big data analytics allows them to streamline a patient's medical history in order to give them the treatments or prescriptions that they need to potentially save their lives.
Although the use of big data analytics increases commercial efficiency, large databases of sensitive information concern personal privacy and the right of the consumer. Personalized advertisements and targeted goods and services spotlights the fine line between marketing and manipulation. Customers may be uncomfortable with this unseen control that businesses wield over the consumer. Moreover, big data analytics involves the ethics of privacy. Leaked information could potentially endanger their customer if data breaches, misuses, and inaccuracies occur. Hence, these qualities of big data analytics lend themselves to controversy. The risks of using big data analytics are demonstrated in the following 2 U.S. case studies.
So, leading up to the 2016 U.S. presidential election, data scientist Alexander Kogan created a Facebook app called This Is Your Digital Life. This questionnaire profiled American voters and was most infamously used by the political consulting firm known as Cambridge Analytica. At the beginning, when the participants began the survey, the survey required them to grant limited access to their Facebook profiles, but as soon as the users allowed this, what they didn't know was that they were giving every single piece of information ever stored on their Facebook profile over to Cambridge Analytica, and the same for all of their Facebook friends. This gave Cambridge Analytica access to the Facebook profiles and every single piece of data of 87 million Facebook users. And this was controversial because of its influence on the 2016 election. So, Cambridge Analytica's vice president, Steve Bannon, he gave this voter classification data to the Trump campaign. Trump's programmers created scripts to create ads that were specifically targeted to people at strategic moments during the campaign. These individualized ads were meant to resonate emotionally with voters and to bring them closer to the president or Trump's message. And this misuse of data possibly violated American election law. But instead of Cambridge Analytica facing most of the blame, Facebook is actually taking the heat for this because the breach occurred on its own server. And in order to help save face for the company, Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Facebook, testified before the United States Congress. But no one in Washington knows how technology works, meaning that there is limited hope for effective online privacy regulations at this point in time.
Now, imagine again that with the flip of this coin, I have the possibility of taking personal information of anyone, my choice. You may think that's kind of ridiculous, right? But the fact is the reality is far more closer than you might believe. Enter Equifax. It's a credit reporting company. It takes a vast amount of data on a variety of Americans, such as their home addresses, social security numbers, and payment information. It gives it to insurance companies and banks to see if they're reliable sources to pay back loans or to make purchases. It seems responsible and has good intent. But the issue comes in mid-July 2017 when Equifax was hacked and the data of 146 million US Americans, half of the population, was released to the public, making their bank account numbers, social security IDs, home addresses, phone numbers available to anyone at any time for free. This has 2 major issues. The first is obvious. It ruins the lives of Americans and the future of our economy. But the second It erodes trust in between the American populace and the companies and the government itself, because how can we trust them with our data now when we know the horrors that can be associated with it?
Not only is big data analytics an American concern, but it also involves the world community. As demonstrated through the following two case studies.
Big data analytics has not only impacted social media, but has also impacted international security as a whole. For example, in 2008, there was the Mumbai attack that caused several destructions in the Indian community. The mastermind behind this plan was none other than David Henley. The NSA, or the National Security Agency, did several cross-checkings trying to determine if he was the culprit, because he was sending several messages of emails to the terrorist organization Lashkar-e-Taiba. Due to the cross-checking, they found nothing. However, due to the use of big data analytics, they were able to determine that there was a second identity that he had, which was Dalu Gilani. With that second identity and the use of big data analytics, they realized there was only one person. With being able to use big data analytics, we are able to have greater security and international security and for a brighter tomorrow.
As big data analytics is becoming a large part of our working society, many businesses and corporations are now utilizing this new technology to their advantage. According to the Sydney Morning Herald, the Commonwealth Bank of Australia recently used these strategies to analyze customer risk. The CBA has 5 million online customers, and its applications are used by 2.6 million people. The CBA is already selling a big data analytics tool known as the Daily IQ to its business customers. This product provides cash flow reporting and business insights from similar industries in surrounding areas to give an idea of their success. Banks are now scrambling to quickly change their culture to reap the benefits of the influx of this new technology. The drastic switch of the CBA's ideals is to get ahead of the change in technology and be ready for the future where competition can come from any industry.
Big data analytics is a field that has the potential to change the means in which our society progresses and develops. The information collected not only has the potential to optimize consumer comfort, but also helps law enforcement keep us safe. Additionally, the data collected also saves lives because it has the potential to predict natural disasters that affect areas around the world, such as the Philippines, Japan, and China. But amongst all the benefits reaped from data mining, we must keep the rights of our citizens in mind by adhering to these two actions amongst others. 1. We must create a unifying international body that lays out the terms and conditions regarding data mining and extraction. And 2. We must provide a legal framework that resolves data mining issues for businesses, consumers, and governments. We have a few discussion questions that we can consider when thinking about the issue of big data analytics. Now, we dream of an interconnected world in which we can easily access anything at any time, but we must also recognize the risks and consequences that come with this. For example, we may have to be willing to sacrifice our data in the event of a government or corporation misplacing or misusing our data. That being said, our delegation believes that the risks that come with big data analytics are outweighed by the benefits that come with the interconnectedness of our world. Thank you for your time.
Thank you to the delegates from the USA. Due to a shortage of time, we will only allow for 2 questions on the floor. Are there any such questions? Yes.
With the recent implementation of the EU's GDPR regulations, which sets a limit on how companies may use their users' data, do you think this regulation is a step in the right direction in terms of protecting user data, or a step in the wrong direction in terms of hampering the use of big data?
Right. So setting regulations is one thing. The issue is how do you go about enforcing it? And as for that recent ruling, we're not quite sure how they're going to go about doing that. With that being said, we as a delegation believe that we both have to have regulations to make sure companies don't misuse data while ensuring they're given the ability to access and manipulate that data in the first place. Does that answer your question?
Are there
information. So basically, you guys mentioned how not only does the leak of data affect the trust that is of the local, the civilian population towards the government, it also affects the economy. So how exactly is that?
So the optimization of the market efficiency contributes to the economy. For example, if I were to click on those Korean ads that I see all the time, then I would be more inclined to buy them because it's something that I'm more personally connected to. And because I'm more inclined to buy them, I'm contributing to the economy in that way as a consumer.
Next, may we have the delegates from the UK.
Good afternoon, everyone. If you could all just lend us your attention for 10 minutes, the UK delegation will be covering online falsehoods and its influence on the populace. In other words, fake news and its associated dangers.
So our dream is a simple one, and it began in 1989 when Tim Berners-Lee, a British scientist at CERN, created the World Wide Web. In fact, in 2009, as the online world was gaining popularity and momentum, Berners-Lee gave the following quote. He said, "When something is such a creative medium as the web, the only limits to it are our imagination. Every day, we as a global population aim to move closer to the web that Berners-Lee had invented. But it seems that hasn't been an easy journey. Some of the key issues we face with the online world today are the problems created by fake news, an overflow of information, and cognitive biases within the population."
One of the main problems of the internet is that of fake news. And in recent years, we have seen fake news becoming more of a prominent problem across the globe. First of all, we'd like to present you with figure number 1 of the fake news triangle, which illustrates that one of the key sources of fake news is that of social networks. However, it is not limited to. There are various sources of fake news, and that includes internet instant messaging apps and online news networks. As of May 2018, Yahoo News, Google News, and Huffington Post were ranked as 3 of the most commonly used news platforms across the globe. This is further reinforced by an investigation conducted by Trend Micro, which is an IT security company, stating that fake news in its current incarnation would not be possible without social media sites, as these platforms allow users from various countries to connect with other users easily. However, fake news itself would not be a problem if people in the population were able to distinguish between that which is true and that which is not. And therefore, the issue lies with our own deductive skills, the apparent authenticity of false information. As a result of fake news, believable fake news will lead to a misinformed population, which can be further misled and skewed into affecting action and behaviours, such as that of holding unjustified opinions on significant issues. As previously explained in a previous presentation by the US, in regards to the presidential election of 2016, Cambridge Analytica truly demonstrates how easily a company can manipulate users to steer towards certain political ideologies or stances. And now we present you with our second case study, our second figure, which is the public opinion cycle, which illustrates the cycle of spreading of fake news. Due to brevity of time, we will focus on the first 4 stages. Spreading of fake news starts with step number 1, which is reconnaissance, where you find and isolate a target audience and gauge levels of interest within this audience with some key information. This is then followed by you prepare a key story by creating variations of this information for the reader to follow. Delivery, where you spread the information using legal or underground sources which are not too dissimilar to those used in China, Russia, and the Middle East, allowing for fast and effective propagation. This is then finished by exploitation, where you use targeted promotion amplified by social media to engage with the audience. The last 4 steps essentially describes how fake news and all sources are sustained and repeated for future use. As seen by the research published by Trend Micro after conducting sophisticated research in China, with sufficient financial resources, people are able to either manipulate the decisive course of action for $400,000 or to help instigate a street protest for $200,000. Therefore, people are able to promote actions which seemingly represent genuine public opinion by paying a check on social media platforms. Here are some examples of the possible presentation of fake news on various social media platforms, which we will discuss later in our case studies.
Are people in your country able to spot fake news?
Well, a researcher from the University of British Columbia conducted an experiment on 700 undergraduate students to see if they can spot fake news for themselves. So they were shown screenshots of news sources that were widely ranging from the Huffington Post to Fox News. But the findings were truly worrying, because overall, students attributed more legitimacy to fake news outlets like abcnews.com.co, which is an imposter of ABC News, than to more reliable sources such as Yahoo News. And this shows that people have a hard time separating authentic and fabricating news. The situation gets worse due to confirmation bias. When fake news articles align themselves with the reader's views, he or she is more likely to believe the false information given to them. We'll explain this in more detail later. But for now, our UK case study is one of a fake article released by the news source, Patriot Beacon. It portrayed the Queen to shut down the Mayor of London for criticizing President Trump. But this was nowhere near the truth, since the Queen historically never gets involved in politics. In the world we live in, fake news is found everywhere. This shrewd marketing strategy only turns us, the people, into mere pawns of a political chess game.
To demonstrate the adverse effects of online falsehoods even further, we present you now with a series of cases of false news circulation across the well-known and commonly used platform of WhatsApp. In India, WhatsApp has been circulating news about child traffickers and kidnappers, and therefore, unsurprisingly, much animosity towards these apparent criminals have been created. Two tourists, Abhijit Nath and Nandal Delkat, were beaten to death on the mere justification that was based on nothing more than rumours that were circulated on WhatsApp. Similarly, in Brazil, which is subject to a very serious case of misinformation, where WhatsApp was the medium used to spread anti-vaccine videos and audio messages, and thus Brazil was blamed for a recent outbreak of yellow fever in their country. All the above works to illustrate that, with 1.5 billion users worldwide, WhatsApp has a lot of influence over a great deal of the content that people can view. The main problem with WhatsApp is that it's a very private communication service, and its privacy essentially encourages users to share and discuss news stories and talk safely within private groups. This makes it impossible for governments to monitor the information spread and impossible to prevent the spread of fake news.
To paraphrase Yuval Noah Harari, in the 21st century, censorship works by flooding people with irrelevant information. People just don't know what to pay attention to and often spend their time debating side issues. There is too much information in news sites, social media, or elsewhere for our minds to take in. Our brains all have a limited data processing capacity, meaning we cannot comprehend every piece of information that we receive. Therefore, when we receive a lot, we aren't going to find all the significant pieces of information that we need in order to make an informed opinion. The fundamental problem is a chronic lack of clear, accessible information. The word we need to focus on here is clear. We need to have sources of clear information.
These issues are formed in order to exploit what are called cognitive biases, the means by which we process information whilst efficient remains very poor and easily swayed. A study in unemployment exposed our thinking for all its flaws. Britons thought that unemployment rate was 24%, when it was in fact only 7%. South Koreans somehow thought that their unemployment rate was 40%, when it was in fact only 8%. And the Spaniards believed theirs to be 46%, when it was in fact only 25%. Now this is what's called the availability heuristic. It allows us to take a mental shortcut that relies on sudden and instinctive examples regarding a specific topic, concept, method, or decision. Here's another example which I found really interesting. Let me ask you this. What's less likely? To be killed by ISIS or to be killed by a goldfish? That one is a goldfish, but listen to this. You're far more likely to be killed by falling in your bathtub than being killed by ISIS. And I don't remember the last time Mr. Trump tried to stop bathtub makers from entering the US, but as an Iranian, I'm still salty from Iran being banned. Now, Thayer and Sunstein's book Nudge proves our two human systems of thought. One is automatic and the other is reflective. From this, it is clear that there is a fundamental flaw in our logical reasoning. We could subsequently ask ourselves, if we attain to these blind automatic systems, to what extent are we making logical judgments when it comes to important matters, such as voting for the next PM or voting to leave the EU? They said in their book, voters seem to rely primarily on their automatic systems. The internet, for all its benefits and great uses, arguably facilitates and encourages these problems.
Okay, so let's try and present some solutions to the problems we've just shown. In the UK, Theresa May tried to solve the problem by creating an anti-fake news unit. We believe we should take this one step further by creating a global information committee. 3 jobs. Number 1, regulation. Number 2, information provision. And number 3, education. So let's start with 1, regulation. The committee will be able to fine, sanction or implement rules on any firm, and especially those which produce news. The point of this is to stop fake news from being spread. One example out of 100 could be Facebook. If a post contains fake news or false information, they have to have a massive red banner saying fake news on that post, so people know what they're reading. And this is only fake news. This is not opinionated news. What we need to make that clear. It's news that is false and that the information which is false. We also believe that comment should be fully, frequently and fearlessly discussed, as said by John Stuart Mill. There needs to be sufficient evidence for why regulations need to be implemented. Therefore, we should implement some safeguards. Number 1, only 2 individuals from many diverse backgrounds. They all have a specific role and they're accountable to that role. The whole committee is completely transparent, anyone can see it, and is accountable to all countries. One example could be, or a case study of this manner being implemented, is the Malaysian Communications Multimedia Commission, the MCMC for short. They managed to delete 80% of 4,358 fake news accounts. They even created a link which allowed people to show or tell the government that there's fake news here and there. And this was implemented last year, March 14. And today there's been 25 million hits. That's 2 million hits a month. From Malaysia, imagine that's around the whole world. How much fake news will be gone? It will be brilliant. There will also be a news source, so we'll be providing information. So this information will be simple, clear, and non-opinionated. It could be country-specific or concern the world as a whole, and it will provide key statistics such as GDP or unemployment. The purpose for this is not just to inform people, but to combat the biases we just talked about. If people have information, that means their opinions can be formed on a foundation of good knowledge.
Our delegation would like to propose the implementation of a new module in primary and secondary school curricula. We believe this is essential that today's youth have, at the least, a basic understanding of how political and economic systems operate within their respective nations, a dream which can best be achieved through education. This will allow for generally more informed decisions and an improvement in youth turnout at elections. The course should only cover the fundamentals of these disciplines so that it does not overshadow the rest of the curriculum, but it should be covered to such an extent that it sticks in the children's minds. The committee will have representatives sent to each member nation who will oversee this implementation, as the education of generations to come on, fake news, information overflow, and cognitive biases are key to solving the issues of online falsehoods and their influence on the populace.
For this reason, we believe a Global Information Committee is an apt solution. We would like to thank you all for listening to our thoughts and would now like to open the floor to any and all questions you may have for us. Above listed are the sources we have used in the making of our presentation, followed by the questions we thought you may like to think about. Thank you.
Thank you to the delegates from the UK. Due to shortage of time, we can only allow for 2 questions on the floor. Are there any such questions?
Hi, I'm from the US and I'm not very sensation. So it seems to me that fake news seems to accompany like the sensationalized simplification titles that incentivize readers to click on those like reading advertising and such. Because of this like capitalistic notion, how do you like what kind of obligations do news companies have to provide the unbiased view if they're working off of capitalism?
Well, that's a really great question, thank you. Technically speaking, we don't actually have a problem with opinionated news, because it's good to provide an opinion, because it has an argument for it. For example, say there's a new president, and maybe he's not doing so well. It's nice to have an argument saying why he's not doing so well, but maybe another argument on the other side. So it doesn't necessarily have to be unopinionated, but the facts need to be correct, and obviously they have not only a moral duty to provide correct news, but surely they're going to want to have correct news themselves if they want to get any readership in the future for long-term view. Therefore, we believe opinionated news is fine, but you just need to have sufficient information to make sure that the argument you're reading is good. For example, with confirmation bias, if you think President A is really good, and I read an article saying President A is really good, but the argument article is really poor, I need to have sufficient knowledge to clock that, wait, this argument is rubbish. I don't believe in President A. So that's what we have to clock.
Are there any other questions on the floor? Delegate over there.
Hi, wonderful presentation. So with the increasingly big data analytics available to companies today, how do you feel that news companies and the government best respond to echo chambers being formed as a result of that system? So can you repeat the last bit of that question? So in terms of like echo chambers of ideas, how do you feel that the government and companies should best respond to that to prevent that fake news or that news that is not held out with reasonable bias?
Okay, good question. So stuff like that, that's new stuff, big data analytics. We've never had that kind of data before. We've never had massive amounts of data that we can just check. And this data can be falsified through whatever echo chamber or whatever it may be. And we could take an evolutionary kind of stance here. So say these echo chambers occurred and maybe there's a few problems. We'd look at these problems, think, okay, how to solve them. Then this committee, the job of this committee, will be looking at the problem and think, okay, let's have regulation A, B, and C. That'll solve some stuff. Information provision saying, okay, this is true, this is true, this is false. And educating people to see, okay, this is what they're telling us, should we believe or not? So the point of this committee is basically for stuff like that, when you think things that the world's never seen, we can adapt to it. It's the best way. Okay. And thank you very much.